Episode number 154.
In any path of success that you want to create for yourself, you got to have a coach. You got to have somebody who's going to show you the way, show you the correct way, and not let you create bad habits for yourself.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, I'm fired up today to this show. And the reason why is because we're about to make you some deals. Because we're talking with the deal maker, Matt Skinner. Matt, are you ready to be real?
I'm ready to go, Travis. Let's be real.
Let's do this. Matt is the president of Empire West, and he is all about making deals and getting paid, specializing specifically and also working on the real estate as well as private equity, doing lots of stuff with buying, apartments at a good value and then making some money on it, right? And so it's been a pleasure. We're excited to have you on the show. But my man, what is going on today? How's your day going today?
Day's going great. I'm actually in Chicago. It's a little cold out today. But
you're in Chicago. Okay. So usually you're in also Laguna Beach, correct?
I am. I lived there for a while. We're building two 10,000 square foot houses in Newport Beach that are right on the water, private dock.
Wow.
And we just listed one of them for $26 million.
Wow.
And this is the biggest, especially residential project I've ever done. And we're really excited about it, really proud of it. And it's a crown jewel in our portfolio, to be sure.
Man, 26 million.
I know. Who do you have to become in order to afford a house like that?
Yes. You're either maybe playing the NBA, maybe playing in the NFL down there, maybe, like Todd Gurley or someone, or Jared Goff or one of these guys, that wants a nice view. He wants a nice view every day, wants a nice view. I mean, these NFL guys are getting paid. Or you are a music star, maybe. You're a successful music star that wants a new view, or you've made a really good job at making deals, making business happen. Something. I don't see it, happening probably any other way, except maybe a lottery ticket scratcher. I mean, otherwise, that's a big investment right there. But I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure it's unbelievable.
It's amazing. It's incredible. One of the guys that leased our dock and is in conversation about buying one of the homes sold a little company called 4G to another little company called Verizon.
Wow.
And he has, I don't know how much he's worth, but it starts with a B.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in that case, 26 is not much.
Yeah.
So that might be just one of his vacation homes.
It would be one of many homes that he has. Exactly. In fact, he lives in Laguna, and he says, I'm just tired of driving all the way to Newport to get my boat. And I just want a house with a boat I can put my boat in the backyard in. So, wow. By the way, that's about a 15-minute drive, and that's kind of a hassle.
That's crazy. That's crazy, huh?
It is. It's amazing. It's just a totally
different level of thought.
It totally. I mean, I grew up and I was born into a construction family. Mm-hmm. My dad's a contractor. My grandfather's a contractor. I started out in construction, literally doing trades, and decided at an early point in my life that I wanted to be, the guy who owned the projects that we were building and wanted to be the developer. And so the path that I took was I went into a general contracting business, building first homes, and soon turned into multifamily and condos and shopping centers and, commercial real estate. And I'd build them and I'd sell them and I'd build them and I'd sell them. And then when the recession hit 10 years ago,
mm-hmm.
I learned some really important lessons, because being a real estate developer, when the music stops, there's not always a chair left for everybody.
Right.
And so I changed our strategy and got into buying and holding cash flowing apartment buildings.
Right.
And that is
stuff that's making money. Stuff that's making you money each month.
Absolutely. Cash flow.
That's hey, there's something to be said about it. I mean, the hard part is, I've always found, is getting that first property, right? I mean, I'm just imagining, if you're someone listening to this podcast and you're a small business owner, you're got some money in the stock market right now. We just had a huge hit in the stock market today, for instance. And I believe in stocks. I believe in all investments. But I think the biggest one with real estate is getting your first deal.
Well, for a lot of people, it's daunting. How do you go out and buy a large property? And
right.
The truth is, the larger the property, typically the less risk there is in an ironic sort of way.
Really?
Smaller properties have more risk. And for example, if you buy a house to rent out as a rental and that person trashes the place and leaves, suddenly overnight, you have a 100% vacancy and you have a construction project that's going to keep you vacant for many months with zero income. But if I have a 100 unit apartment complex and one of my tenants decides to be a knucklehead like that, it barely,
no big deal.
It affects us, but it's 1/100th of the income that was being produced. And so more units you have, the more streams of income, the more passive, more passive income from different revenue streams that are coming in. The safer, the more stable, the more secure that you become.
So I'm sure a lot of people are also saying, well, that sounds good, Matt, but how do I make a deal happen with such a big, place? I only can get into a small little one.
I used to feel that way. And that's exactly where I started was who do I have to become in order to be owning,
100 units.
100 units. How do I get there? And one of the things that we've created inside of this game that we play in real estate is I've created a training program where I teach people how to go out and find deals.
Got you.
And what makes us very unique, I mean, I hate the term guru or anything like that, but we have a very specific elite training program that teaches people how to locate deals, how to talk to sellers with credibility, and how to make offers and make deals and get paid. And when I say that, part of the program is a lot of times we end up partnering with our students because not only do I teach a person to go out into the world and make deals, but they bring them back to us and we partner up with them. And so they're able to begin their journey of investing, of apartment ownership by owning a piece of the deal that they put together.
Right.
And we fund it and we operate it, and they get to add that to their balance sheet, which looks really good to the banks. And they get to add that to their resume, which looks really good for, doing anything in the future. It gives them their own credibility. And once they've seen all of the pieces and functions on how these things go and see how we operate them, a lot of our students go on to build their portfolio and do deals on their own without us, which is fine. That's what this is all about. I believe firmly that real estate is a team sport.
Right.
And so when we can expand our team and we pick the best players and we get to work with great people, we all benefit. We all win together. And that's what being a deal maker is all about, is helping people solve the problems that they have. And in exchange, hopefully they help you solve some of the problems that you have.
Yeah, it's a win-win at some point. Sometimes you give and then you never get back, but that's just part of it, making a deal too.
Just putting the positivity in the universe that way.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out, but then you know what? It's most of the time, if it's, you give, you get over time.
Yep.
So absolutely. Also then I'm so curious to this because I'm even thinking, okay, all right, I'm interested. So say you want to get your first deal, are you better off looking at multi-unit then? Right off the bat?
Well, I'll tell you, I get asked that question all the time. And I think that the other half of the question that I think you're posing is, do I need to start with single family or do I need to start small?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a couple things about that. I started with single family and I wish that I didn't. I wish that I started on bigger projects and for not just the safety and security reasons that I told you before, but there really is like saying, if I want to, do I need to learn German before I learn Chinese? And I'm speaking about languages, right? Like they're just different. One's not better. One's not superior than the other. They're just a different language.
Two different
game to play. And so you might as well choose the one that you think is going to get you closer to where you want to go. And you don't have to go a circuitous route through, learning German in this example to then eventually learn Chinese. So having said that, it's way easier to get financing for commercial real estate.
Gotcha.
More investors are more excited about doing bigger deals. So when you have bigger deals, it's easier to raise capital.
Gotcha.
They're easier to operate. They're safer. They're more secure. They're more stable. And they provide a lot of benefits that single family doesn't provide. On the flip side of that, I'm going to say that I've been talking about a lot right now. I have a real estate show called DEALMAKER TV. It's on YouTube. And we just did a show and we talked about this. Right now, we have a very interesting thing going on in single family. And that is, last summer, Congress passed a law that limits the amount of mortgage interest deduction
that
you can claim for single family homes. Now, what that means is the laws changed. And I think around April 15th, we're going to see a lot of people who own rental houses discover that they're not going to get the same tax advantages that they used to get.
Right.
So they'll probably sell and want to transition into commercial real estate, which still has the tax advantages that it's always had. And so we're going to see a lot of people selling houses. Secondly, we see mortgage applications for homeownership is the lowest it's been in over 10 years this quarter.
Right.
That means people aren't buying houses this year or these last couple of months like they have been for the last 10 years. That's a huge sign of a potential recession, a potential correction in the housing market.
Yep.
And so the one thing that's pretty cool about multifamily is that we call it a hedge against inflation or a hedge against recession, because typically when the housing market goes down, when people aren't buying houses, more people rent.
Right.
And so when more people rent, that drives by demand the value of our apartments up. So housing corrections are actually a good thing when you're in the multifamily space, because they act as a counterbalance to the housing market.
Got you. Makes sense. Completely makes sense. Do you also, within your commercial real estate stuff, do you do also like stuff for businesses, or is it only just primarily just family stuff?
Yeah. So we primarily do some development. I've built some retail strip malls, shopping centers. It's been a while since I've done that. We still build houses like I was talking about earlier, but our primary focus is multifamily. The one thing I would say in any business is to stay in your lane, right? Become an expert, become the best at whatever you choose to do, and do it well, and systematize and create processes and procedures so that you can repeat success over and over again. And one of the challenges that I think a lot of people get, even inside of our DEALMAKER program, is people go out there and say, I'm looking to buy apartments anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
And it's like, how could you be an expert in every single market in the country?
Right.
The best thing you could possibly do in business, and specifically in real estate, is focus on a target market and be the very best inside of a small territory.
Yes.
Know the ins, know the outs, know the players, know the banks, know the lenders, know which street is more valuable than the other street.
Right.
And the way people get themselves in trouble in real estate is by not understanding the market on an intimate level when they go in to buy. And so we coach our deal makers to focus on no more than 500 properties and just know every owner, know every nook and cranny of that market, and be the expert. Not be a expert or be an expert, but be the expert, that people know that that you're the boss of that. You're the king of that territory. And that's how you really can get catapulted into success in real estate. And I think that this applies in any market. I mean, you're in marketing, you have a very special and unique target market. You do social media. And so you focus primarily on being the best and delivering the best product, and knowing, because they change their algorithms and their stuff every day. So you got to be on top of that stuff.
Absolutely.
And so if you said, hey man, I do everything marketing. I make videos, I make songs, I make, this and that and all these, like, no, dude, I am the best at social media, and this is how we operate. And I think that's the best, the best way to be on top of your game in any arena.
And it's too difficult to try to be the best at everything. It's like, the guy that says he can do logos and websites and SEO and social and your Google ads and your TV. It's like, yeah, you probably can, but you're either outsourcing the work to other people or you're doing it all half-ass. I mean, there's just one of the two. It's like the guy that you don't go into your dentist and all of a sudden he's telling you we need to do surgery on your kidney or something. You know what I mean? Like, you don't walk in there and he's like, hey, I'm an expert at toe doctor, fungal thing. I remember one time I had a termite guy come over and check out something at my mom's. The next thing you know, this guy's like, he could all of a sudden build showers and he could do everything. I'm like, dude, don't you just do termite inspections, man? I mean, you had a guy for everything. It's like, come on, man. Like, you can't do it all. You can't do it all.
You're so right. If you try to be everything to everyone, then you're nobody to anyone.
Yeah, it's like people kind of take it as like, what are you really good at?
Yep.
So I'm so curious to this because I think this is something I want to eventually over time add to my portfolio of investments is maybe getting into real estate via multifamily, you know? So my first question is, say I'm going to own the Fresno market out here, Central California. And I'm looking at the deals, Matt. I'm looking at the deals. I'm saying, okay, I'm looking at, and I haven't done this yet because I know the market's been high. I'm just been, not ready for it. Not ready. My question is, what in the deal does stand out to you? I mean, what stands out to you? What number should we look at? Is it cash flow number? Is it, what numbers are that really strike out to you to help you guide the deal? I'm sure there's more than one, but can you give us one maybe?
Sure. I'll give you a kind of an idea. There's basically three strategies, three different distinct strategies in investing in apartment buildings. One of them is cash flow. So you want to buy in an area that has high rents relative to the cost to buy the property.
Okay.
So you're getting monthly income.
Right.
Most markets that produce a high cash flow don't necessarily go up in value as quickly as some other markets do. Like California goes up and down in value radically, and you can make millions on one buy if you just time it right.
Right.
And then another strategy is value add, which is a strategy that we like to employ, which is we like to buy buildings that either the property physically has a problem or the owner has a problem. And sometimes those are emotional problems.
Right.
And sometimes those are financial problems.
Right.
Divorce, bankruptcy, challenges. There's a problem that we can solve. And when that problem is solved, the value of the asset can be increased. And that's what we primarily focus on.
Got you.
And then the third strategy that people employ are appreciation. And so one of the things that large financial institutions do, like hedge funds and pension funds, life insurance companies, their job is to not lose money.
Right.
They're not playing the game of how do I win? They're playing to not lose.
Yes.
And so apartments are such a low risk, especially if they don't have debt on them, that they know that if they buy an apartment building, over time the value will go up, and their money is safer than a bank because it's a hedge against inflation.
Right.
When milk and gas and price of everything goes up, so do rents.
Right.
And it's a hedge against recession because when the housing market crashes, more people rent. So it's a great, safe, secure, stable place to park your cash. And that would be the third strategy. So you've got appreciation or safety play. You've got value add, which is what we do. It's a lot of work, but we're able to make giant returns on our investments. We averaged 22% annual return on investment over the last 10 years investing in apartments. We're very proud of that. Numbers are fantastic. And then other people play for cash flow. So you buy a building maybe in markets that are not as hyper appreciative, Ohio, places that aren't just like booming in value growth and things like that.
Right.
And you can get a good 8, 9, 10% income coming in. So that's pretty good money. If you're getting a 10% return on $1 million investment, that's $100,000 a year where you don't have to work. All you got to do is get up, walk to your mailbox once a month, and collect the check. And that's a pretty nice lifestyle. But there's, like I said, various different strategies inside of even this one game.
Right.
And so imagine if you tried to be an expert at everything. There's all kinds of different strategies in all different kinds of categories. And so,
you hear the Burr method, you hear all these different things that these guys are doing. Man, it's so interesting. It's so interesting because there's so many things you can do with real estate. And man, I'm just pumped up. I'm pumped up. Is it hard to manage a property away from your local area?
I get asked that a lot. That's a great question. We use third-party management. So we'll hire a local property manager to manage our assets.
Right.
When I first started, we self-managed, and frankly, it's just not a business that I wanted to be in, dealing with toilets and tenants, and that wasn't the purpose of why I got into this.
Right.
One of the things that I like about using local third-party management that's not my company is that if they don't do a good job, I can replace them.
Right.
So we manage the manager and let them do the leasing and the repairs and the work, and we just make sure that we are keeping an eye on the ball, watching the numbers, and making just double checking. And obviously, with my construction background,
it helps.
It helps a lot because I know what a toilet or a light switch or whatever should cost, and I'm not going to say they've never gotten one over on me, but I'm going to say it doesn't happen very often.
Which is very helpful. I think that's what leads to your success in this business, is the fact that your family's been in building.
Definitely helpful.
Helpful success, man. I mean, that's because the truth is, if you're putting money into anything and you're going to be using some people that you don't, they're contractors, there's people that doing these different services for you. There's a chance that if you don't know what you're doing, you can get screwed. Let's just be real. If someone's going to say, if you don't get enough quotes on a light fixture, if someone says it's 1,000, you didn't know there's a guy to do it for 200, the same work. You know what I mean? And right. I'm sure that happens times 10.
100%. And honestly, I like to buy buildings from people that make those mistakes.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Those are my sellers.
Yeah, right. Yes. And there's probably a lot out there. Like you said, for some reason, they have some reason they need to get rid of the property.
Well, people decide they want to get into this, and they decide that, I'm just going to use engineers, for example, and I'll apologize in advance to any engineers that are listening, but engineers are really smart guys. They've been to school. They've got high education. They tend to think they know everything, which they probably know a lot about a lot of things, but maybe not know as much as they should getting into an investment like this and running a building. And truthfully, when you're running an 100-unit apartment complex or 50-unit, you're really managing a community.
Yeah.
Not just sticks and bricks. It's people and their relationships and their problems and challenges. And they get up and go to work every day to pay you. Usually, person's rent is the first priority financially. Yep. And so, you stack pretty high in that, in the priority list. But going back to picking on engineers, they feel like they know, and there's a lot of other trades, other, types of people that fall into
lawyers and doctors.
They think they're smart, and they don't get the training. They don't find a mentor. They don't find someone who's been through the landmine path. They don't, somebody who's if I've already gone through and checked and found out where all the landmines are, I can lead somebody else through it and show you where to step and where not to step.
Right.
And in any business, in any path of success that you want to create for yourself, you got to have a coach. You got to have somebody who's going to show you the way, show you the correct way, and not let you create bad habits for yourself. And so a lot of times we find sellers that, got a couple of friends together, they bought a building, and then they run it into the ground and they go, man, I thought apartments were supposed to be safe and secure. Well, they are if you manage them well, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's a people business as much as it's as a brick and mortar or sticks and bricks business.
So you have to start learning how to manage the community and then manage the managers in your local area. And it might just become more work for these people that they would rather be sitting on their yachts and just relaxing. So,
and that's what we offer to people we have an elite group of investors. These are high income, high net worth folks. The parameters of that are not as crazy as it seems, but we have over 240 individual investors that have invested with us over the last 17 years.
Wow.
And what we really offer them is financial freedom that's truly passive. So they get to own a building, get the cash flow, the tax benefits, and the growth, participate in the ownership without having to ever deal with a tenant, without ever having to even do any of the work. And so people really enjoy that.
That's awesome, man. Well, and that's through the Empire West brand, correct? We'll put that in the show notes.
Absolutely. I also have our training programs. We call it DEALMAKER Society.
DEALMAKER Society.
And if I'd like to give your listeners a free copy of a book that I have on Amazon. So I think it's $20 on Amazon, but I can give it to you free if you go to a link for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's DEALMAKERbook.com.
DEALMAKERbook.com.
And we'll mail you a copy. And this book is all about who you need to be in order to do and have everything that you want in life. And we go into what I call the 5 pillars of sales, marketing, negotiation, business management, and financial intelligence. And I teach some of the lessons that I've learned. It's a real estate book insofar as I tell some stories about my journey as a real estate investor, but it's really more of a personal development book about who you need to be in order to do and have. And I think that that's the key.
And dream big too, because you're dreaming big, my man. $26 million places over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're really excited about that one.
I know it's going to happen for you, brother. One of these guys is going to come through with a big old check and say, "That's mine."
It's mine. Oh, it's beautiful. I'll send you a picture and you'll see exactly what that means. Wow. It's probably one of the most desirable pieces of real estate on the planet. And I don't say that to be, hyperbolic. I mean, I say that to really, it's true. It's really
you got lucky in finding the property, and then obviously you must have put something really beautiful together there.
It's beautiful. We have one 10,000 square foot house, ultra modern, lots of glass. It's got a pool. It's amazing. And then the other house is more of a traditional style for that market, which is Cape Cod. So it's really a traditional house. And they're just absolutely gorgeous.
Well, let's make that happen, brother. You're going to make it happen. I already know.
I think my buyer is going to come to me from listening to this
B-Real show. He's on the B-Real show. Todd Gurley, Jared Goff. Coach, get up in there. Magic Johnson, let's go, buddy. Come on. LeBron, where you at?
As a Rams season ticket holder, man, I'm right there with you. We're connected right now.
Dude, you guys are on a side note, you guys are balling out this year, man. You guys are unbelievable.
Oh, man, it's amazing how good management can turn a team around.
Yeah, and believing in your quarterback. Too many of these guys in the NFL, they don't get a chance to really grow. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And Goff really got that chance in a way. For a while, this first year, everyone was like throwing him in the garbage, man. I watched film on that guy in Cal, and actually our coach, Jed Tedford here in Fresno, he coached him along with Aaron Rodgers and a few other guys, but the dude's just gritty. You know what I mean? And I was like, I just know this guy's going to click someday. I just knew it. And then obviously your coach, your coach lit a whole fire under that. So shout out to the Rams, man. I hope I see him in the Super Bowl. Or in the NFC Championship with my boys, the Cowboys. But now we're about to take you to the top 10, my man. Let's go. Apple or Android?
Apple all the way.
Netflix or Disney?
Whoa, Netflix.
Instagram or Twitter?
I barely use either one.
Chicken or steak?
Oh, man, I'm a steak guy.
Oh, yeah. Laptop or an iPhone?
Ooh, iPhone.
Spotify or Pandora?
I'm old school Pandora, man.
Pandora. Keep it mixed. I like Pandora. Movies or video games?
Movies.
Nice. Reading books or listening to books?
Ooh, man, I do both.
You do? Yeah. The blend of both.
I download the book on Audible, and then if I like it, I'll get the actual book because I get more out of reading the physical one, but it takes longer. So I want to get through a crappy book fast on Audible.
Yeah, you could like listen to it in the gym or in the car or, somewhere else. And another one our guest said, the best thing about listening to the book is you kind of have a mentor in your ear. So you're listening to the voice of the author or the speaker instead of your voice if you're reading. Yeah. And actually, just so this is kind of relevant to this book, because I randomly found this book from our president. And I've heard of this book, but I just have never read it. It was one of my father's books, The Art of the Deal. Dude. That guy is unbelievable. I mean, whatever you look at, like whatever Republican, Democrat, just what the deal is. I mean, he loves to make deals, just like you.
He was one of my early inspiration. That book was an early inspiration. When I decided I wanted to be a real estate developer, I mean, there really wasn't anybody to mentor me at the time. And so that book was a huge catalyst for me making a decision on where I wanted to go.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm in like chapter 2. I'm like, I just read on the physical book. I like to take a little slower than the Audible, because you can kind of cram through Audible. But yeah, it's a random topic because we're talking to the deal maker. But yeah, the art of the deal, man. There's something to it. Whether you like the president or not, the man is unbelievable as far as making deals.
Absolutely.
And marketing. Let's just be real. So last 2 questions: stocks or crypto?
Oh, I don't even invest in either one. I think they're both.
They're all in real estate, baby.
I think they're all gambling.
So real estate's the real money. And last, oceans or lakes?
Ooh, oceans. I'm an ocean guy.
I like it, man. And we can all visualize ourselves sitting on that nice pool of that $26 million Newport pad. Can you tell us right now, when you wake up in the morning, Matt, why do you love being you?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'm so appreciative every day about the opportunities that I get to have and being in this country, that I get to build the man that I want to be. And I have the choice every day to get better today than I was yesterday or not. And we all have that choice, and we have the freedom and the opportunity to do that. And that's the greatest gift. Freedom is the greatest gift that we can have. And so I just, I feel blessed every day, man.
Yeah. And when you live with gratitude, you can do bigger things.
Who can manage a little will be given a lot.
Yes, exactly. What is the skill right now you're trying to master?
Oh man, I've been a student of neuro-linguistic programming for a while.
Oh, wow.
And so that's big on my radar right now.
Wow.
Emotional intelligence has been something that I have studied and worked on personally for a long time. But it all comes down to our personal skills. Like, how do we relate? How do we communicate? How do we control our self?
Yes.
We can't control anything else. Yes. And so when we work on ourselves, there's an outward manifestation that gets created. And so always working on self, because it's really the only thing that I can create or control.
Yeah, working on yourself and loving yourself.
And loving yourself unconditionally.
It's unfortunately sometimes we beat ourselves up so much. We're our biggest critic.
You got to learn how to not love yourself, not in spite of your flaws, but because of them.
Ooh, nice. I like that.
Make us who we are. And I've watched your videos and seen your journey, man, and you are inspiring in a major way. And I just appreciate you for having that courage to go out and share that journey, because
Absolutely.
There's so many people that connect with that. I got connected with it immediately. Like, man, all right, I know him because I know his pain.
Thank you, sir.
And that's powerful, man. So I just thank you for sharing.
Absolutely, brother. Last couple questions here. Do you have a favorite app you like using on a daily basis?
I write everything in Evernote.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
I'm an Evernote guy.
Keeps it in a safe place, and you can always just go back to it whenever you want.
And it syncs with my laptop, and I can write on my phone and share files, and it's great, and it's free.
Right. Yes, in this world of expensive tools, it's a good one. Be real. Tonight for dinner, a nice steak dinner at like Mastro's or somewhere nice down there. I don't know. Who in the world would you love to have dinner with?
Man, well, first of all, I'd love to have dinner with you. So I'm coming to Fresno.
Yeah, there we go. I like your style.
Number two, I'm a huge fan of Trump, and I would love to have him for dinner because I think he's just such an interesting character.
Right.
Not in spite of his flaws, but because of them.
Right. Yeah, because he grew up in New York, folks. If you haven't been to New York, it's a rough environment.
Yeah,
you might be dealing with the mob, and you might be dealing with all sorts of stuff just to get business done. Let's just be real. I remember like one of the first times I was in New York. It's like I'm walking down the street, and next thing you know, I see some jewelry store, and next thing you know, I see two guys. They look like they're hustling this jewelry guy down. I mean, it looked like just like the movies, man. I was like, this is real, man. I'm just gonna keep on walking as fast as I can. But I mean, it's if you've been in New York, man, you know. I mean, to get things done there, it would be crazy.
It's a rough town now, but when he started in the late 70s, I mean, Manhattan was really rough.
Even worse, yeah. So shout out to Trump for what he's doing, and I have faith that we're going to get this deal done with China, and everyone's going to be happy. Can you also share with us what is something you like to do at night? Is there something you like, a show? Do you like to just relax? What is your favorite thing to do after a long day of hard work?
Well, that's a great question. I do enjoy a show from time to time. I love to read, spend time with my woman, spend time with my children, and I think that's important.
And the Rams too.
And the Rams on the weekends.
Yeah. Well, good for you, brother. Matt, I just really want to thank you again for your time. I see bigger and bigger deals in your future, brother. I mean, it's just a matter of continually providing the value like you already are. And those that are listening, please take him up on his elite training course. We'll put that into the show notes, and let's get that deal done on that $26 million, baby.
Amen, Travis. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, bro. Folks, you've been hanging out with Matt Skinner, the deal maker, and Travis, Too Tall and Huff. I want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today.